Welcome to the MHP Exchange, where the riches are in the niches. We'll show you how to invest your way into mobile home parks with real strategies, tips, and behind-the-scenes know-how to grow your cash flow. Stick around. This is where smart investing begins.
I want to share with you the lowest cost, highest return on investment that you'll ever make in real estate. And you're going to do it without buying the property. It's not about negotiating the loan or in finding the capital. And quite frankly, it's the number one item that most investors miss. It's about creating culture. Here's the one thing. You are building a culture in your real estate investment or in the community that you own, whether you realize it or not. The only question is if that culture is compounding for you or against you. Here's why intentionally building the culture inside your community and really inside your team is so critical. Because the premise that buying a mobile home park and it's set it and forget it, and maybe you have a manager out there that's viewing the homes or interacting with your residents and it's just mailbox money for you, is a bad way to build that culture, because then that culture centers around your manager and not about the systems, the accountability, and the decision-making processes that you're putting in place. So when you're building culture, it's not something that's going to automatically show up in the pro forma, but over time, it's going to show up in execution speed. It's going to show up in resident satisfaction and in investor confidence. And when your residents are more satisfied over time, that's going to lead to getting more referrals and creating a stickier, better resident base. I mean, quite frankly, the culture you create inside of the communities that you own, it's essentially the silent partner in every deal for you. And if you're not intentional on the type of culture you're looking to build inside of those communities, you're missing out on what will be, quite frankly, the highest return on investment that you can have. You know, when we go into a community that we're turning around, one of the focal points for us, for our team, and for what we're looking to instill is a culture and a cadence that lets our residents know the type of community we want to run and operate. We want our residents to feel like they are part of something bigger than just a transaction where they're paying their lot rent each month and that's it. So in building good culture, what does that mean? You know, it's about creating standards that not only we're going to hold them to, but hold ourselves to in terms of how we're going to be responsive and how we're going to look to run that community, not just on a transactional basis, but more of a feeling of not being local, but being very hands-on and creating by design certain things inside of that community that ties the residents together. Like one of the things we look forward to do each month, you know, we'll have inside of our parks a lot of the month. And we allow the residents to submit photos of their lot, of the improvements they made, the gardens they have, the decorations they might put up seasonally, and they submit those photos in to our office. And each month, the park managers of other parks will vote on which lot is the best representation in that community. And it becomes a competition, becomes competitive, becomes something that our park managers look forward to each month because they're viewed on how many submissions we get in terms of the total community. They get to see other communities' lots and how managers are doing there. And then they get to vote on which lot they think is the lot of the month. And the winner of the lot of the month will get a free month's lot rent the next month. So if our resident participates in this and they submit it and they win lot of the month, for the next month they get credited their lot rent. So what have we done in doing that? We've instilled in our residents how important it is. Like, we want to run a beautiful, well-run community. We want the lots to be upgraded. We want to see that all the things that make the community and neighborhood happen. And we want to see residents take care of their lots. And so it instills in them that they're going to be incentivized to do that. And in doing that, we're going to reward them with free lot rent if they win. And we found in communities that this is operated, and when you've received 15, 20% of those residents who are now participating, it just creates a different culture inside of that community and creates a real value across the board. They're incentivized to keep their lots rent nice. When new residents come in, they see what this community is about, and that's building a culture by design, right? And that limits turnover over time. It limits resident churn, and it really compounds over time the return that we get, whether it's through operational excellence, whether it's through resident satisfaction. And it's something that we're very intently focused on how we want the culture inside our communities to run. And it goes even further. I mean, as you're building your team and you're growing your business, it's extremely important that your team understands what your culture is. What's important for you. And I read in, if you ever have an opportunity to read the book, The Disney Way, whatever you like or not like about that company, one of the things that they were very big on instilling is the corporate culture. And one of the quotes I took out from that book was, when culture is known, decisions are easy. And as you're looking to scale up, if you're looking to scale up your business, the easiest way to pull yourself out of every single decision that's going to be made downstream is ensuring that your team not only knows the process, but understands the culture behind it. What's important for you and your organization. For us, we want to be good stewards of the land. We want to make sure that we're adding value to every step of the equation, whether it's to the community, to the residents, to our stakeholders. That's extremely important, and always looking for win-win-win scenarios where it's not binary. It's not I win, you lose. It's how do we create a win-win-win scenario where everyone finds value out of that interaction, that situation, to move forward. And when you have a culture like that, or you build a culture like that, it compounds over time. So it either compounds for you or it'll compound against you. And the beauty of this, and the beauty of focusing on this, it's not a high cost. I mean, you'll have a lot of operators and sponsors who talk about when they come into a mobile home park, I fix the roads, I maybe improve some homes, I infill some lots. Those are visible, obvious ways to create value, or that you could show value, and that'll impact operations and NOI. This is a very low cost way to impact NOI over time, but it's intentional. It has to be focused, and it has to be repeated and disciplinedly repeated over time to instill that culture inside your team and inside to that community. And then at that point, it takes on, because I've seen, one of the big failings I see in this space is people have a manager in place, and the culture takes on the attitude of the manager. not so much the attitude of the owner. And in doing so, you run the risk that if you don't have a good manager, or you don't have a manager that's really representing the interests that you want to portray, your residents will not get that message. So instilling culture is a huge differentiator. It's a huge component to what a good operator needs to do. You know, you started at the community level, you make sure your team is on board and understands the importance of your core values, of what you're looking to embody moving forward, that it's not just about, you know, how much money I can make, but this is the culture we're looking to instill. Because the beauty about real estate, and you've probably heard me say this before, but I'll say it again, real estate is not about bricks and sticks. It's really about people, and it's the ultimate people business. So on your next deal, or inside the deal you're working on right now, the best investment you can make is in instilling culture, making sure that your team knows it, and down on the ground, your residents feel it. Because 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, that compounds, and it will make a huge difference from being someone who maybe bought a few parks to someone who became a leader and you created a legacy. So it's the cheapest investment that you can make. It's the most expensive one to ignore, but it has the ability to generate the highest ROI on your investment. Don't skip out on building culture. This is Frank Rizzo with the MHP Exchange. Until next time, everyone, happy investing. And if you got value from this episode, I ask you to do one thing. On the platform you're listening, give us a rating, share it with somebody who you think could use this information or use this tip or tool on their investment. And I guess that's two things, but do that. And until next time, happy investing from the MHP Exchange.